Morning, everybody. This is Theo here with Top Flight Assistance, your credit repair expert. I'm the senior customer care representative here at Top Flight Assistance, and as I have been for the last 4 days, the guide for your 700 plus credit score challenge. First and foremost, I'm sure you can tell my office looks a little bit different today. I got kicked out of my office for a big synergy style meeting for the team here. We're building a great relationship with our team members, so we'll be doing it in this office today, so I do apologize if it gets a little bit loud. But today, day 5, we're actually going to look at some information on a credit report and kind of dive into what some of these inaccuracies look like, and we're going to show some ideas of what we can do with the credit bureaus, what kinds of disputes can we send out, and got some really good stuff here today. So Junior and Tanya, thank you. Welcome, good morning. And we're going to go ahead and dive into this thing and get started today. So first of all, it's Friday. Everybody loves Friday. Let's go ahead and start Friday off with some great information here. This right here, over here, is what the beginning portion of a credit report is going to look like. So when we pull up a credit report, the very first thing it's going to do is show us this. This is called personal information, and it is it's exactly what it sounds like. This is your personal information that shows up on your credit report. So very first thing up there, credit report date. What's the day that we pulled this report up? This report was actually pulled up last night. Let's see. Name. Now, this information is all covered because it is private information. We obviously don't want to share this info with anybody, but your page will look exactly like this with your name across the board. Underneath that, it says also known as. Now, that's an interesting section of a credit report. That is, have you ever gone by another name? And a lot of people are like, well, no, I've been me my whole life. Well, those items can actually be inaccurate. So this happens a lot with people that are junior, senior, or ladies, men. When you guys get married, change your names. Your maiden name or your birth name may be still showing as a name that you have used to been known by. Also, if you've ever been adopted, had your name changed that way works as well. But there's another way. There's another way that information can be wrong, and that's called bad bookkeeping. Myself, I've used my middle initial in the past to get onto a line of credit, so I say like, oh, Theo, middle initial, last name. Or I just use my first and last name. So because I've used my middle initial in the past, there are creditors that have my name as first, middle, last, not just first and last. So we want to check and make sure that all of this information is accurate, because it can harm your credit later. If you go to look for a piece of credit, you go over to Verizon, Visa card, and you say, hey, I want a line of credit, and they look at it and they're like, well, you have a lot of different names. Are you trying to hide something? Do you maybe pull fraudulent information? So we definitely want to work, and we can actually work with the bureaus, get that information cleaned up. We want one name all the way across the board. Down below it, you're going to see birth date or date of birth. This individual was born December 31st, 1993, a nice young individual here. Now look over here, date of birth, TransUnion, whole date, Equifax, whole date, but right there in the middle, that is showing just 1993, just your birth year, which is great. I mean, they got that right, but that doesn't help verify anything. A creditor isn't going to look at that and go, oh, you're born in 93, this says you're born in 93, great, this must be you. We want the birth date, the whole birth date, right there. So that, again, something we're going to bring to the Bureau's attention. Hey, this is inaccurate bookkeeping. This needs to be fixed. Down below that, you're going to see current address. So the current address is going to be, what address do you currently live at? Where do you currently seek your credit from? So is it your P.O. box? Is it your physical address? Either one is fine. It doesn't have to be the physical address. If you get your mail at a P.O. box, that's fine as well. But you want it to be the same address all the way across the board. So having it the same across the board means that it's the same address for all 3 credit bureaus. But the problem here is, and we showed this yesterday during that initial breakdown, that individual had 3 different addresses and hadn't lived at any of them in 10 years. So this current address we want to be the same. This person here, of course, we covered the address. We can say that yes, this person's address is the same all the way across the board. And if you look just below that gray box, you'll see that the zip code 90746 is the same. But let's go down below that, and there is a lot of different previous addresses. Where have you ever lived in the past that you sought credit from? So again, these previous addresses, we don't want a lot of previous addresses here. It shows a creditor that maybe you aren't stable in your living situation. You move a lot. You maybe are trying to move away so you can kind of duck some of that debt and not pay it back. Hey, if we have to repossess that car, are we going to be able to find this individual? So previous and current addresses, we want A, them to be accurate, but B, on that previous address side, we want it to have as few previous addresses as possible. Now, down below that is employers. Now, again, this is all lined out, but only one credit bureau is showing this person working, and only showing them working out of Carson, California. It does show a little bit of the employer's information there, but it's not in depth. So why is that important? Well, we want the credit bureaus to know that we're working. When I pull up my credit report, you'll see that it says Top Flight Assistance all the way across the board, because I want them to know that when they pull up my credit report, hey, you told me on your credit application that you work for Top Flight Assistance, but only Experian says you do. What gives with that? Now you may have to go and get a letter of employment or a proof of employment from your employer. We can avoid some of that by making sure that the employers are part of your credit report has accurate employment information. So this individual is only showing that they're working at one place with one credit bureau. We want to get to the credit bureaus and say, hey, this individual is working at this place, and it needs to be reported to all 3 credit bureaus. Again, it shows stability. It shows, hey, this person works, they've been working for a while, definitely somebody we can lend money to. So this is inaccurate information right off the bat, and that's just in the personal information. That's not even in the actual credit. So let's take a look and see what else we can find. Right down below, and this is with our partnership site, Identity IQ. We talked about them a little bit yesterday. Pulling up credit reports with Identity IQ, this is what they're going to look like right here. So right below your personal information section, you're going to find this, and it's your credit report and score. So first, let's take a look at the actual credit scores. Credit score with TransUnion, 520. Down below that, it says lender rank, and it's going to say unfavorable. That means that while you don't have poor credit, you're not in this part that said, you're not poor, you're not going to be unlendable, you're what's called unfavorable. That means you're not going to get good interest rates, you're not going to get good terms. Getting a new line of credit may be difficult, or it may come with a lot of strings attached. You're going to have those interest rates, those little bit higher loan payments every month, your monthly payments. So there is some unfavorable things there. Down below it, it's going to say score rank. Score ranks or score scale, it's showing what the lowest credit score. TransUnion will show you up to its highest. This one goes from 300 to 850, which, by the way, is the national credit scale. You cannot have more than an 850-ish credit score. And you cannot have below a 300. If you have such bad credit that it's You're completely unlendable, you'll have a 300 credit score. People that have lower than a 300 are people with no established credit, people that have never taken out credit, or juveniles that don't utilize credit. Next, it's Experian 562. Down below that, again, unfavorable. Obviously, that score is more favorable than the 520 next to it, but still not in the good credit range. And then over on the far right, we have Equifax, and that is 512. Again, unfavorable. That is the lowest of all the scores. If you were to take an average, you put all these scores together, take an average, you're looking at about a 520-ish credit score. Not super great, but could be a lot worse. So now let's go down below that, and this is a great section there. It says risk factors. Now, this is something that creditors, when they look at this report, will see. This is what determines whether you get your credit card or your car or your home or not, is these risk factors here. So let's go ahead and take a look at them, and we'll kind of break them down as we go. First, it's going to say TransUnion, and that's going to be that bold highlighted information right there. No open accounts in your credit file. So that means that this individual here has no open credit. That means no current credit cards, no current installment loans, no current charge cards, no home loan, no auto loan. There is literally no credit being utilized. That is the number one risk factor. Why? Creditors say, well, they've used credit in the past, it didn't go well, and they're not using credit now. Why should I be the one to take a risk and lend you money? So, open accounts. Big risk factor right now for this person, no open accounts. Number two, the date you opened your oldest account is too recent. Remember back on day one, and for any of those of you that did not join us on day one, 15% of your credit score is actually made up by the length of credit. How old is your oldest account? And again, like we talked about yesterday, 2 to 5 years is that range that lenders really want to see. That shows that, yeah, you not only paid on time and that, yeah, you used the credit properly, that's the 30%, the utilization, but you did it for an extended period of time, because let's be honest, anybody can be a champion for 10 minutes, but can they keep it going for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? That's what creditors want to see. So this individual had a line of credit that, look at the one right above it, is no longer open, but that line of credit was way too recent, so it was within the last 2 years. It was within 24 months. Down below it, too many bank card or revolving accounts with delinquent or derogatory status. So, delinquent status means that there's a payment outstanding at least 30 days. It's delinquent. It's behind schedule. It's late. Derogatory status means that it's either a charge-off, a collection, or it's some other negative status, such as included in a bankruptcy, or it could be a creditor that had actually taken this individual to court and sued them for a judgment. That'll show as a derogatory status as well. So, too many bank cards that didn't get paid, too new of a credit line that was now closed, and no open accounts on your credit file. So there's 3 major factors to why the credit score, if you look again to the top of the page, is down in the low 500s and unfavorable. Down at the very bottom of that highlighted section, lack of sufficient relevant installment account information. That means that there just hasn't been that much credit in the first place. There's just not a lot of accounts. So then you move into Experian, same thing. Look at this, it's the date you opened your oldest account is too recent. Too many bank cards with delinquent or derogatory status. Insufficient credit history, so that goes back to this last one from TransUnion. Then go down to Experian, no open accounts. Date is too recent. Lack of sufficient installment information. So all 3 credit bureaus are on the same page saying if we can fix these risk factors, we can get this credit score up and looking better much more lender, as it says right here, lender rank. We can increase that lender rank, what we call here in the business lendability. And I like to put it simple sometimes. If you've gone to the library and checked out a library book but never brought it back, they won't let you come and check out another library book. Money lenders, they're all the same. If you've taken out a loan and you haven't paid it back, or you've struggled to pay it back, they're less likely to give you or lend you another loan amount. So definitely some information here that we're going to take a look into and see what we can do to help this individual out. So, account summaries. This goes right below your information that we just looked at, your credit scores and risk factors. This is going to be the next thing we see, and it's called account summaries. Now, this account summary page contains some inaccuracies. So, let's see here. Total accounts. TransUnion, 6. Experian, 7. Equifax, 5. Not bad. Pretty straightforward. And everybody will ask me, well, Theo, why does it show 5, 6, and 7? Why isn't it the same all the way across the board? And that's a great question. Answer is even more simple than the question itself. Not everything reports to all 3 credit bureaus. So if you go to places like furniture rental stores, Aaron's, Ashley's, those kinds of places, they may only check 1 credit score and then report that information to 1 credit bureau. So that's okay to have different amounts of open accounts, or of total accounts, because that's information that may be different depending on what each lender reports to. Down below that though, open accounts. It says 1 all the way across the board. How can you have 1 open account if your risk factors just said you had 0 open accounts? It says there was none. That's an inaccurate piece of information. You can't have 0 and 1. Doesn't make sense. It's either 10, put the 1 and 0 together will make it 10, which is probably even more inaccurate, or it's 0, and this is inaccurate. Down below that, closed accounts, 5, 6, 4. So that's saying that each one of these credit bureaus is showing 1 open account and however many closed accounts. So for Equifax, there was 5 total accounts, 1 open leaves 4 closed, 7 open, 1 closed is leaving 6, 6 open, 1 closed one open leaves 5 total. But that's kind of weird, right? We just talked about how you can't have 1 open account. So there we go. Again, inaccurate information. And then delinquent. Remember we talked about it earlier. Delinquent means that it's stuff that is maybe not charged off or not in collections, but is not being paid on time. And that shows 1. Collection accounts showing 2 with TransUnion, 2 with Experian, and 0 with Equifax. But when we look above it, derogatory shows 3, 3, and 2. These numbers are all over the place. Now here we go, and this is a weird one. And that's the balances. Throws you off a little bit when you look at that and you go, well, how can TransUnion and Equifax be the same dollar amount of open balances if TransUnion has 1 more account than Equifax? Is it showing that there's no money? What is it showing? Then you look at Experian, and they're way out in left field. They're saying that it's $7,250 with $424 a month worth of payments. So really inaccurate information. Public records showing 0 across the board. So what that shows us is that there's no bankruptcy on this credit report, there's no child support on this credit report, and there's no judgments or tax liens. Tax lien is if you don't pay your state or federal taxes, the government can come, put it against your credit report. They can come take money from your bank account. They can come and seize some of your assets, some of your property. They can put a lien against your home, tell you, hey, you have to pay us an X amount of time or we're going to take your home. So guys, don't play around with taxes. Make sure you keep those paid. Down below that is inquiries, and that's how many times have you in the last 2 years had your credit ran for a line of credit. Now, looking up your credit report here with Identity IQ, going online, looking at it at Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, anything like that, does not affect your credit score. It is not an inquiry because you're not looking to gain any kind of lending. You're just checking your credit score. These inquiries over the last 2 years is times that this individual has gone to actually get some kind of credit card, charge card, car loan, or extended credit. 1 time with TransUnion, 4 times with Experian, 1 time with Equifax. Again, this goes back to not every creditor runs your credit across all 3 credit bureaus, and that's where that discrepancy comes from. So, take a look here, things we can dispute. So, we're going to take a look at this item here. Looks pretty average, looks normal, but let's go ahead and break it down. So, there's different figures from all 3 credit bureaus. Let's take a look where that starts at here. See the account number at the very top? It's all the same. Now, JPMCB card. That's the name of this credit. People are like, oh, what is that? Well, it's a revolving card. It is JP Morgan. It's a money bank card. This is a charge card with a store. So, here we go. Account number. It's relatively the same across the board. Account type, same. Account detail, same. Bureau code, the same. Now, what bureau code means by individual across the board means that this person said, hey, I want this credit card, me and me alone. It's not a joint account. It's not a authorized user situation, not a co-signer. Ooh, sorry about that. It's just that. So, account status, right down below that, shows closed. That means that that item is no longer being utilized. It's credit that is closed. No longer an open card. They cannot charge this card anymore. Down below that, we look at the date that it was open. Here we go, right above me, things that are different or different figures from the bureaus. Dates. This is one of those dates. July 18th, 2016 with TransUnion, but both Experian and Equifax say July 1st of that year. So which one is it? Because it's only one card. We didn't open it twice. Down below that, the balances. So, balance looks very similar. It's $2,525. Okay, that's fine. That means that that's what's owed on the card. Looks accurate across the board. Cool. Next one down. Number of months. And it says in parentheses terms. That just means, is it an installment loan or not? Because this is a credit card. You can have this card for 1 year. You can have it for 100 years. There is no term limit on how long you can have the card. So that number is 0 across the board. That's pretty typical. But let's look here. High credit. That means how high was the highest balance? How much money was charged on this card at its maximum level? And that's a different number. $2,823 with both TransUnion and Experian, but Equifax over here says $2,500. That's off by almost $323. How does that get reported so inaccurately? That's an inaccuracy. Credit limit, $2,500. $2,500. And here's Equifax saying $0. So this person put $2,500 on a card with a $0 balance or $0 limit. Means he could borrow exactly $0. Kind of a weird loan amount there. I gave you $0, but you somehow borrowed $2,500. Interesting. Huge inaccuracy. Past due amount, $449. All the way across the board, that means that $449 is the amount of payments that piled up before it was charged off or closed. But then we look down below it. TransUnion says this payment's 120 days late. Experian says it's 150 days late. And Equifax says it's 120 days late. Difference of 30 days. So did we do 150 or 120? Who knows? Can't tell because this information is so inaccurate. Down below it, the last reported date. So what the last reported date means is that this was the last time that they told the credit bureaus that this account existed. And for this one, it shows the 1st of January 2020 for Equifax. The other two bureaus say the 8th of January. Now let's go down below it. Last active. So this means the last time that there was any kind of charging or activity done. And TransUnion says the 7th of October of 2018. However, according to Experian and Equifax, this card was charged as recently as September 1st of 2019. And for Experian, July 1st of 2019. Almost 7 months difference. Actually, it's more than that. It's about 12 months and almost 12 months different between TransUnion and Equifax. So how is that possible? Again, erroneous information. It's an error. It's false. Down below that, date of last payment. And this is all different too. Experian and TransUnion both say that the last time a payment was made was back in June of 2019. But Equifax says September, 3 months later, somehow they received a payment, but nobody else did. Definitely inaccurate information. None of that makes sense. You look at that and it's a jumbled mess. Huge amounts of inaccuracies. So what we do now is we go and we open a dispute. We tell the credit bureaus, look at this mess. What's the real information? Prove that each one of these things is correct. And of course you can't prove that 4 different things is the right answer. However, there are times where this information may be perfect, where it may be a charged off card, but all of the accurate information is there. That means there's no inaccuracy to dispute. We can still attempt to dispute the debt based on a couple of things. 1, statute of limitations. 2, if that information or if that particular account was opened in fraud. 3, if there is any kind of extenuating circumstance. There are times where you can have things disputed, people that are affected by natural disasters. Some individuals in Texas, when Hurricane Harvey came through, obviously it destroyed the infrastructure. You can't work, so how can you pay your credit card? There's some other things that we can use to dispute. Or, as this says down at the very bottom here, right here above my head, there it is, you can send what's called a pay per delete. Unlike a pay-per-view, this one is a little more fun. It's called a pay per dispute. With this letter, you can request that the derogatory item be removed from your credit report if you pay the balance. Now, a lot of times creditors are going to jump on this. They're going to allow you to be like, yeah, pay me. But we're going to do it at a discounted rate. So if you owe $10,000, you're going to go to the credit bureau or the creditor and you're going to say, look, best I can do is $2,000. Can we take it? And see what the creditor says. They may accept it. They may say, well, can we meet more in the middle? Can we meet at $3,000, $3,500? Now you're negotiating with them, but it's all on the promise that they're going to remove this item. So right here it says very often the creditor will allow you to send this letter with a significant discount. So like I was just talking about, we can do it at a lower rate than normal. If you just send in the payment, if you call up Midland Funding and you tell them, hey, look, this thing's on my credit card, this old credit card, this is on my credit report, and I want to give you, the $2,000 that I owe you, Midland Funding will never say no. They're going to take that money. But the problem is the balance goes down to 0. So we go back to this last slide here where it says balance, where it shows $2,500. That balance is going to show 0. But this derogatory item will still remain on your credit report. So if you send in the payment, the balance goes down to 0, and the status shows current, but the account that's negative still shows on your credit report and still shows past negative payments. So, and the worst part is that date that's last active now becomes the date that you paid, and it can actually be applied as a new, it may show as a new item. So not only is it still there, but now it's showing as a new item. So the statute of limitations just reset, so it may be 5 to 10 years before that item falls off, and you've just put it in as a active account. So now instead of your credit score being a 512, it's a 480, because now it's dropped that score 35 points because now it's a new item. So it can be very dangerous to just send money blindly to these creditors. So this one right here, again, see down below here where it's highlighted with the big circle, that's the payment history. That's what your payments look like from the last 2 years. So if you were to pay off that debt from the last slide, this information would still be showing for the last 2 years. Let's take a look at this account. Again, more derogatory information. This is called a charge-off, but there's some huge inaccuracies in how it's being reported. So let's go ahead and take a look here. This is a TBOM card, which is the Bank of Missouri. This is a national credit company that goes and lends for store cards. This is a charge card. Again, account number at the top looks great. Account type detail, bureau code all look good. Oh, wait a minute. Equifax is showing that this is a revolving card, but doesn't show it as a credit card. That may not seem like a lot, but that is an inaccuracy. It has to be 100% correct. There's an inaccuracy for us right there. Down below it, monthly payment, $0, because nobody's paying on this. Then it says date opened. Again, inaccurate information spread between March 5th or March 1st of 2018. The balance is accurate across the board, $1,739. Again, here's another inaccuracy. High credit shows $1,739 or 0. Can't be both. And down below it, you'll see the credit limit. This particular card was over its limit. That means that this person either charged up to the absolute maximum, they applied some interest and it went over its limit, or they just straight over maxed the credit card. Some credit card companies will allow you to use more than the balance that's available on the card. However, you're going to pay that back at a much higher interest rate. So here we go to last reported date. Again, that's different. But now let's look at the comments, where it says comments. Charged off as a bad debt, canceled by credit grantor. What does that mean? So, charged off means that this account was so delinquent, so long, went over 120 days without getting a payment, that they just said, hey, we're not going to get any money back from this particular borrower, so we're going to charge it off. We're going to write it off as a loss. Done with it. Wash our hands of it. Now let's go down below that, and it shows date of last active. Well, this is really interesting. How can there be an active date again? TransUnion, July 11th of 2018. Experian, March 1st of 2019. We're talking 5 months, 6 months difference in its reporting. How is that possible? Now let's look at what's highlighted in that big circle. So let's start on the far side where it says January of 2018. So those first couple months they say okay. That means that the payment was made on time. Looks like something happened in April and the payment was about 30 days late. No big deal. It's a little hiccup. We all have them. Then we move into May and June. Those are okay. But now we get into some of the more rough times. 30 days late in July, which is a weird report right here. July for Equifax shows that it's okay, but Experian says it was 30 days late. Which one was it? Now let's go to August. Experian shows no payment history, and Equifax shows 30 days late. That's, again, we're getting these weird reporting dates. We're getting these weird inaccuracies. Did they pay the payment? Was it late? Did they not pay it? We don't know. Now let's move into September, October. So now we have September is 60 days late across the board, right? But now all of a sudden in October, Experian jumps all the way up to 120 days, while Equifax says it's only 90 days. And then when we go to the very next month, November, it's flipped. 90 days for Experian. So how did it go from 120 days to 90 days? And from 90 days to 120 days, then again, let's move forward to the December. It's flipped again. It's 120 and 90 again. It can't keep going between 120 and 90 days. Then, right here in bold, and for the Experian, you see in February of 2019, it hit 180 days late. That means for 6 months, there have been no payments, and the following month, March of 2019, you see those letters CO. That means charged off. That means it's done. It's a dead balance. It's what's known in the financial world as dead monies. But Equifax shows okay all the way across the board from there out that the payment was okay. Is it okay or is it charged off? Inaccurate information. That right there is payment history, 35% of your credit score, and they don't even have it accurate. Huge amount of damage to your credit report right there. So, this is an example of what a dispute letter looks like. So let's go ahead and take it from the top. Highlighted at the very top would be your name, your address, city, state, zip, easy stuff. Down below that, your social security number. The credit bureaus have to match, Levi, good morning. The credit bureaus have to match your social security number with your name and your birth date, which is right next to social security, date of birth, DOB. All of that information has to be accurate so the credit bureau knows that you really are the person you say you are. John Smith can't be writing a letter and putting on his sister's social security number with his birthday. Well, who is it? What are we doing? So make sure that you guys are putting, just like they have to have, you have accurate information there. This letter is going to Experian. They have a P.O. box out in Allen, Texas. So we're going to go ahead, and this is just an example of a dispute letter. Dispute letters may be different, they may be longer, they may be shorter. It just depends on what we're disputing and how we're disputing it. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this one says. According to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Section 609, talked about this one yesterday, subsections A, subsection 1, and sorry, that's paragraph 1, and section A. You are required by federal law to verify through the physical verification of the original signed consumer contract, and that's a huge deal. That means they have to have your name, pen to paper, signed that contract. They have to have that. And all accounts you post on a credit report. So they don't only have to have that for one thing, they have to have it for everything. Otherwise, anyone paying for your reporting services could fax, mail, or email in a fraudulent account. So, when I join with, I have right now an American Express card. So when I signed up with American Express, I signed documents that said, I'm going to take this credit card, I'm going to pay for this credit card, and I am going to be the one financially responsible for it. After that, American Express is required by law to take that piece of paper, take that contract, and send it to the credit bureaus so that the credit bureaus have that information and they can start reporting it. If they don't have that information, they cannot report it. It's unverified information. I demand, we're not asking, we're demanding to see verifiable proof. And that, again, in bold right there, an original consumer contract with my signature on it you have on file for the accounts listed below, and that's what is over here at the bottom, all highlighted. So your failure to positively verify these accounts has hurt my ability to obtain credit. We're telling them, guys, I've tried to get credit and it's not working. This is why. I don't believe this is true. Prove it. Under the FCRA, Fair Credit Reporting Act, unverified accounts must be removed. If you are unable to provide me with a copy of verifiable proof, you must remove the accounts listed below. And right there in bold, I demand that these accounts be verified or removed immediately. Ruben, good morning. So, name of the account, right here, we're going to put the creditors there. We're going to put whoever the creditor is, JCPenney, JP Morgan, Capital One, whoever it is. That's where their information goes. The account number. What account number do they have? That's the account number we're going to put in there. Provide physical verification. That's on that far side. We're going to basically say in each one of these boxes, it's an unverified account. Now it's up to the credit bureaus to verify it. The burden of proof is not on you, it's on them. Another example of dispute letters, this one is for an inquiry. You know, right here, I contacted, highlighted right here, this first highlighter, inquiry source's name. So, hey, I contacted Verizon, who conducted the inquiry and asked them to remove their credit inquiry from my credit profile. So then you're going to just kind of basically briefly tell them that, hey, we want you to look into this information. We don't want this inquiry there. We feel like it was an unauthorized inquiry. I never said, and I talked about this when we were talking about car buying. We told CarMax they could look at our credit. We didn't tell 40 people they could go and take a peek at our credit scores. Can we work on these inquiries? So, the bureaus use something called eOscar. And what that does is that automates the dispute process. So basically, it's a computer that sorts through all of the disputes that they get. Due to this, you may get a letter that when you dispute something, states that the dispute has been validated or that the dispute is frivolous. We talked about that a little bit yesterday about what they call frivolous disputes. So you cannot go and send a letter about every single thing on your credit and be like, oh, it's just not verified. That can be considered frivolous to the credit bureaus. You have to have some validating information behind it. Sometimes, even when you do your due diligence, you send a good letter, you send a great response, the credit bureau may respond back and say, frivolous, oh no, we verified that. It's basically a rubber stamp, send it out in the mail. So we have a library here full of hundreds of dispute letters that are actually tailor-made to each case, and what that does is that avoids getting that frivolous response. So when we send out something for some clients that maybe have 10, 15, 20 items that are in dispute, they're going to get different letters on those disputes so that their bureaus aren't just getting a stack that big of the same generic letter. When this happens, when they do send back information that they said is validated, now we have to go to work a little bit deeper. Now we go to round 2, round 3, round even 4 sometimes. And what that does is we're basically holding the creditors' feet. We're keeping those in the fire. We're telling them, you are not getting the information we desire. Why? How do we go about getting this worked on? And we start to really hammer away at those bureaus. So here's an example of a second round letter. Again, your information at the very top. Dear Credit Bureau, and you'll write which credit bureau it is. So instead of Dear Credit Bureau, it'll say Dear Equifax, to whom it may concern, whatever. I see that you verified the account listed below. Go ahead and put the account, and then, and here's the great part about those response letters, they're going to have a reason. They're going to say, so let's say that you verified the Verizon account below saying that it was a frivolous account. Please provide me with a copy of your departmental procedures that were used to verify this account. Again, I'm holding them accountable. What are they going to say to that? Oh, we rubber stamped it with the eOscar system. That's not a procedure. That's not a verifiable investigation. We're going to make them accountable for it. We're going to keep going here. How do we repair credit? Here with Top Flight Assistance, the best and fastest way to get these things dealt with is our legal team and processing staff. Now, what these people do is they get hundreds of letters from the credit bureaus. They look at those letters and they do those round 2 disputes. They do those round 1 disputes, the 3s, the 4s, based on what did the credit bureau say and how is it violating sections of different laws on the books by the Federal Trade Commission, laws like the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act, the Rosenthal Act, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. We're going to utilize the entirety of these laws to get these negative items and incorrect information deleted from your credit report, not just temporarily, but permanently and to the fullest extent of the law. The law is on our side as consumers. That's why it's there. We have helped. Right now, we're at a little over 10,000 clients right now. We have seen a lot of those people getting their disputes resolved in 60 to 90 days, and that's because we tailor-make those dispute letters, because we get them delivered to the credit bureaus. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the case studies we have here. So, this is actually a round one result that came in just the other day. This actually came in from the credit bureaus on the 29th of January. These are letters we get every day. So this says appointment is for. Now this is a client that we're going to sit and talk with about what was deleted from their account. Again, that name of course is redacted. So how many inquiries did they have before? Well, they had 4. And how many are after? Well, they still have 4 because we haven't gone for the deletion of those inquiries, because those 4 inquiries were for lines of credit that this individual has credit with. You cannot ask to remove an inquiry for a line of credit that you actually have. So if I go to buy a car and I get the loan through Capital One Auto, I cannot ask the credit bureaus to remove the inquiry from Capital One Auto. From the rest of them, yes, but not from Capital One. So that's why those inquiries are the same now as they were before. Here's the accounts deleted. Look at this. Here's a creditor, a collection agency. EOS CCA, the original creditor was CenturyLink, and let's take a look. And that was deleted, and it says deleted from EX. That means the Experian Bureau was reporting it, and it was deleted from Experian. So here we go. Here is a big one. Hunter Warfield. That was originally Crane, and it says Ordway. There's some other information that has been deleted for privacy. This was a collection account in the amount of $1,279. It has been deleted, removed, permanently gone from Equifax and from Experian. Those were the only 2 bureaus that were reporting it. Again, here's where we get into that situation where bureaus are reporting pieces of information maybe only to 1 bureau or maybe to 2. Late payments, and here's a huge one, from child support and from student loans as well. We're talking about going in, hey, this individual paid child support, paid it on time, fix this payment history, 35% of your credit score. Student loans, number one thing when it comes to predatory loans, student loans, they're big dollar loans with high interest rates given to people who obviously aren't working, they're going to school. Huge problem with payment history on student loans. Here we are, we got that repaired. We've got that negative items removed. No more late payments showing. Added accounts. This individual did good, did not add any new accounts to their credit during the process. They've stayed true to their word. And now let's take a look down here. Credit scores have all jumped. They didn't move, they jumped. We're looking at a 54 point change to the TransUnion score, 59 to Experian, and Equifax is up 58 points. That's in one round, 60 days. Savings, $1,456. That means that we removed these negative items, totaling $1,456. You're not going to pay that money. It's gone. It's not owed to anybody. That just put $1,400 worth of debt off your plate and in your pocket. So, next, here we go, 60-day evaluation. That means that only 60 days ago, this person joined up with Top Flight Assistance. Jefferson Capital Service, that's a collection account, collection balance $242. Boom, gone from all 3 credit bureaus. And here we go again, Jefferson Capital. They double posted. Remember we talked about it yesterday, the same account more than one time. That's what they did here. And that account was removed both times, totaling $400. worth, $484 total worth of information, worth of debt removed completely. And look at these credit score jumps: 84 TransUnion, 79-point jump on Equifax, on Experian, and Equifax a 66-point jump. This individual now has credit scores all over 600. We're now getting into good credit range. This person can now go out and start to utilize lower interest rates, better monthly payments. These are the results, guys, that we see every day. This is what credit repair looks like. Here we go. Again, medical bills. Those violate some of the other laws on the books, like HIPAA laws. We can work on medical bills, medical collections. Look at here. We have auto right here. Nissan Motors. We got rid of some late payments there. Let's look right here. Care credit. This very top one that's highlighted in red, that's a late payment. Gone. Look at this. Synchrony Bank. Charge off. Deleted. Charge off, deleted, charge off, deleted. Now, see right here where it says deleted on 2 but in dispute with Experian? Experian sent us one of those generic stamp it and send it letters. So now we're going to do a round 2 dispute on that item. Same with this one right here, Synchrony Bank charge off. Now that's with care credit. That's a medical thing. You can get care credit to have your teeth repaired with the dentist, to have elective surgeries done, things that insurances don't cover. We had that deleted. Down below that, Nissan Motor, late payment, and MetaCredit. Again, Southern Hills Medical Center. It's nobody's business where you go to the hospital, how much money you spent there. That collection account, it's out of here. More. This is a huge one right here at the very top. Department of Education with Navient. Look at those late payments. Deleted. Chase card. Deleted. Down there at the end, LVNV funding. That's out of here. That's a collection agency, one of the largest in the nation. They're everywhere. Got them out of here. Look right here, highlighted in these yellow areas. This is something that I am always excited to see. Child support. Child support collection account. The state said, look, we're not going to get paid. They sold it to a collection agency, and we got it out of here. It's gone. U.S. Department of Education collection account. Somebody's student loan went delinquent. The U.S. Department of Education said, we're never going to collect it. We're going to send it to a collection agency. That's out of here. For all those who are asking about what we can do about student loans, that right there, we can get them out of here. Again, let's look right here. Diversified Sprint. It's deleted with Equifax. TransUnion, Experian sent us back stamped letters saying that they verified it, so now it's in dispute still with TransUnion and Experian. That means that they're getting a round 2. This happens sometimes. We were just talking about using that eOscar system. That's what they did there. We're going to take care of it again. More. Look at that. Heritage of Victor Valley. It's a collection account. That's a local company. That's actually for a medical bill. That's out of here. Heritage again. Gone. Bank of America. That was a loan. That's out of here. Southwest Gas, for anybody that's ever moved apartments, moved homes, had that one gas bill hanging on that you didn't even know about. Maybe you don't even live in that state anymore. That collection account. Out of here. T-Mobile. Victoria's Secret. Now look, Victoria's Secret posted twice. Commodity Bank Victoria's Secret and CB Victoria's Secret. That was posted total of 4 times, one with each credit bureau and a second time with TransUnion. It's out of here. Deleted. Sears, Wells Fargo. These are things that we do regularly. Now, here we go. And this right here is a letter coming from the bureaus and coming over to us. And it says, look right here. Hello, I'd like to congratulate you on your deletions for this round of disputes. Let's take a look at what it is. Medical bills. This individual had some medical issues. Took care of their medical bills for him. Look at this. Epic Emergency Physicians on the TransUnion account. Collection. Gone. North Valley Hospital. Equifax. TransUnion. Gone. These are HIPAA law violations oftentimes. And there's 2 things that we see on 99% of credit reports in the world. Medical bills or student loans. Sometimes both. We can deal with them, guys. So this is what a dispute letter returned from the credit bureau is going to look like. This is exactly what they send to you. Of course, we've highlighted it to show you some things, but take a look at the top right here. First Credit Services. In response to your dispute, this item was deleted from your credit report. This is from the credit bureaus. One letter here, First Premier Bank. That was a charge off in the amount of $609. Deleted. First Premier Bank. Again, $669. Deleted. And that's good. Those are small fry. Let's go down to some of these bigger ones. How about this one right here? Hawaii Central Credit Union. This was actually an auto loan that was charged off, and that right there, it was actually considered a repossession, and that was in the amount of $9,273. That repossession is gone. This individual can now go and take a look into getting a new vehicle and not get hit with that 20% interest rate anymore. Look right here, Department of Education, Navient, late payment, late payment, late payment, late payment. All of those different items, and each of those is late payments from different Navient student loans that this individual had to take out to go to school. Hey, you're bettering yourself, you're investing in yourself. Why should you be paying these ridiculous fees for late payments? We'll get them out of here. Let's take a look here. This is one of our newer clients. Her name is Delilah. She's actually a lovely lady. I've spoke with her myself, and this is the review that she left us here just on the 16th of last year. My husband and I started our credit repair in April. Since our credit score has gone up over 280 points. Guys, that's across all three credit bureaus. That's not just one credit score. That's all three credit bureaus moved a total of 280 points combined. Like she says right here, this is only the beginning of our journey with them. There's still a lot more to accomplish. Thank you, Top Flight, for working with us through this difficult journey. I want to be the first to say you're welcome. We're glad to have you here as part of that journey. Here we go. This right here, Top Flight Assistance. Just want to show you some of our reviews. This individual right here in the middle, you can see a picture of him. This guy, he left us actually a video review, dropped a little knowledge in a video. 4.7 out of 5 stars. Of course, can't have a perfect rating all the time, but look at this amount of total reviews, 2,580 overwhelmingly positive reviews. That's because we want to deliver value and results. That's what we're based on here, guys, results. So, do have a special offer exclusively for the individuals that are in this webinar with me today. There are two options. We can get you going today towards your credit goal. The best deal is, of course, the one-time payment of $1,350. Now, this is in comparison to the normal rate of $2,500. Guys, we're saving almost $1,200 right here with a one-time payment. Hey, one-time payments may not be for everybody. We know not everybody's in that financial situation, so we can actually get started for as low as $200 today, broken up the rest of this into 8 payments of $200 a month or $100 bi-weekly, whatever works best. Now that again, still a savings in comparison to that $2,500. Huge deal for our clients here because we want to get you on your way to that 700 credit. Step 1 is fix these negative items that are bringing our credit scores down. We're going to change our mindsets. We're going to change our money management. We're going to fix our credit scores. This is the first step to doing it. So with our credit repair services, not only do you go up to 4 rounds of disputes, we dispute as much as possible, as quickly as possible, but this is not a month-to-month service like some other services out there. We do not intentionally drag this out. Average time frame here, 6 to 9 months, with results in as little, guys, as 60 to 90 days. We just showed you guys those result letters coming in from the bureaus within 60 days of getting started with Top Flight Assistance and their credit repair services here. Definitely a situation where we can have you living your credit future in 2020. Also, we get you on a trade line. Now, here's a huge deal. What is a trade line? Well, very, very easy. We talked yesterday about different statuses that your credit can be. One of those things we talked about is authorized user. Basically what that means is that you get added to a line of established credit as an authorized user. So that means that the credit history, the payment history, all gets reported to your credit report, with your credit score being boosted by the positive line of credit. It's called credit restoration. This is a trade line. These are huge for people looking to buy a home or a car. It's showing that you've been trustworthy for, again, over 2 years, and that you've been able to manage money with a high balance available but a low utilized amount. So we're talking $5,000 lines of credit with showing 10% utilization. This is a huge benefit to the credit score, a huge benefit to your overall lendability. Now, this is a discounted rate from what you get if you were to call in to our wonderful staff out there on the consultation team and speak with a consultant tomorrow or next month. That price would be a lot higher. We're definitely giving you guys the inside scoop to get here to this 700 credit score. Now is the time. Too many people say, well, I want to fix my credit in 2020. Well, 2020 started a month ago. Tomorrow is February 1st. We're already 1 month down. Now is the time to get going and get started to hit those credit goals. So down below in the comments, you'll see a link that's going to get posted here. That link, you're going to be able to click on it. It's going to pull you up to this page right here. This is going to be for my 700 credit score people that are in this group, the people that were serious about being here, the people that were serious about wanting to change their lives. You're going to get that link. This link is going to bring you to this page here. You can choose one of these two options here, whichever works best, of course, for you. Two options. Of course, best deal right now is going to be that $13.50. Now this, what above it, you're going to see where it says same day processing. That means that today, right here looking at my watch, it's about 10:30 right now. Get this in today, and you'll have letters to the bureaus today. They'll be sent out. Same day processing. We're going to get this process started today and get you going. So, success, folks, that's 80% of it's just showing up. Just being here is a huge step towards being better, about changing. You guys and gals over the last 5 days have showed up every day, taken time out of your day. Maybe you're at work, maybe you're at home with the kids, maybe you skipped going to the gym to sit here and hang out with me and talk about credit, and that right there is a huge part of being successful. Is just showing up, just putting in the initiative. And anybody, if there's any stone that I left unturned, any questions you have, concerns, comments, please put them in the comments. Love to take care of some questions and answers for you today. So, end of the day, whether you choose to buy or not, it is going to cost you to fix your credit or to continue on the path that we've been on. So, it's going to cost you. How? Obviously, if you sign up, there's a fee, our fee. It's there. But if you don't sign up, a couple of things is going to happen. You're either going to have to go to each one of your creditors, offer them a settlement, do the pay by, or do the remove by pay. So now you're doing those letters. You're still paying out exponentially higher rates to the creditors to settle this debt. And you're going to be paying, in the meantime, higher interest rates. You're going to be paying cost more significantly in your stress. You're stressing a lot more when you can't use your credit cards, when your credit limits are low. It brings a lot more stress, especially just had the holidays recently. Don't know if anybody is like me and kind of overspent during the holidays. But that credit card bill hit 2 days ago, and that hurt a little more than I wanted it to. So you're going to be dealing with that inability to escape that financial pressure. We don't want anybody to live like that. We succeed when you succeed. That we're going to do this thing together, people. And did you know that actually your car insurance is affected by a low credit score? Kid you not, bring your credit score up 50, 100 points. Go back to the same lender for your insurance and go back with the same information, and you'll find that your credit score has made your interest rates and your insurance rates lower. That's why sometimes you'll ask your friends, hey man, who do you have for insurance? And they drive a little bit newer car maybe, and they're paying about the same that you're paying for your car, and you don't have accidents on your record. Well, part of it is that credit score, bringing those interest rates and insurance rates up. Again, clients, getting that information out to the credit bureaus quickly. It's going out there and we're getting a response. Legally, credit bureaus have 30 days to respond to things. They do take as much of their time as they can, so the average time here is about 60, sometimes 90 days, depending on how deep the investigation with the credit bureaus goes. Often we see results faster than that. I have seen people get results back as little as 35 to 45 days, but everybody's credit situation is unique. 60 to 90 days is the time frame that we like to sit and be realistic with, because let's be honest, realistic time frames are key. We do have a guarantee here too, something you're not going to find other places. Now, I can't look at your credit report and guarantee that any one particular item is coming off. I can't say, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to get that repossession off, because just like it says above me, everybody's credit situation is unique. There are some underlying factors that can help or hurt that process. But what we guarantee here, 100% guarantee your credit report and your FICO score will improve, or you're getting that money back. It's a guarantee. We will make a difference in your lendability, in your FICO score, and above all, in your life. So this is the beautiful link above us, TFA Hacks, because here we're looking, of course, to hack that credit score. TFAHacks.com/700, because that's the credit score we're all looking for. That link is pinned in the comments. You can click on that. And as always, guys, I appreciate every one of you and your commitment to building a better future, a better credit score for yourselves, for your families, and we want to help you along that 100% of the way. We look forward to working with you and getting these credit scores up. I want everybody to have a good day on purpose. Thank you, champions, for being here and being committed to building better credit, and I hope you have a top flight day and a great rest of your weekend.